Not my actual shit. That would be a little great. I don't think it would white balance. It'd be more like a brown balance. So dumb. So dumb.
And that's what made it into the episode.
I wasn't recording it, but you were.
Welcome to Namely 90s. Wow. The podcast that takes you back to the time before smartphones, Google, and Y2K. Join your hosts as they relive the pop culture that shaped a generation and the parts that many people wish they could forget. Listen in to the conversation about how the decade defined those who spent their childhood there and how it shaped them as adults. So, turn down the grunge and dial up the internet. Let's get started. It's time for Namely 90s.
That's right. You're listening to Namely 90s. My name's Andrew, and over there is Brandon.
That's me.
You can find us online at namely90s.com or on Twitter and Instagram at namely90s with the 90s. You can also find the show on YouTube every Monday at namely90s.com/YouTube. And finally, if you'd like to support the show, head over to patreon.com/namely90s with the 90s and get signed up for one of our support levels. And I'd like to personally welcome each and every one of you back to the 1950s.
Yay. Well, technically it wouldn't be the 70s. It was 50 years.
Anytime before, I suppose.
That's true.
Back when women were the property of men.
We've
by the way, this is in sarcasm brackets, just so everyone knows.
Yeah, but is it?
No, well, I mean, I don't believe that.
Oh, yes.
I'm saying
maybe I do this like where I tune you out, so I didn't hear what you said.
I said something about back when men owned women or whatever.
Oh, right. Yeah. 1950s. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Luckily we recorded this after we recorded the last episode.
Yes, otherwise that would have been a little bit awkward. Like 3 weeks later.
Yeah, just so you know, next Monday's episode, we recorded before this one.
It is currently June 26th, which is just 2 days after a landmark incorrect decision by the Supreme Court.
Incorrect. I like how you phrased it, because I definitely. So I woke up that morning and I slept in. It was 10:30ish.
I was working. I got it at like 4 a.m.
Oh snap!
Breaking alert! I was the first to be pissed off.
I think I had just gone. I think I had just gone to sleep then. If it was at 4 a.m, because I was like, I woke up and it was just like. I was in a daze. I was checking Discord and someone's like, fuck.
It's not a surprise. No, it wasn't a surprise to anyone, but it's still like once it happens, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It just seems bizarre to me that a court of 9 can favor 6-3 overturning it when it's supposed to be nonpartisan.
Yep.
They're not elected.
Yep.
And it doesn't reflect the actual division of conservative versus liberal in this country. So how does that make any sense?
It doesn't. Also, if you go back to say, I think 4 of their hearings for when they were being sworn in, they all said they have no opinions on
any decisions relating to beers and calendars from the 80s. We know that one dude, what's his name? Kavanaugh is all over that shit. This is going to be an explicit episode, just so you know. Yeah,
he's definitely a Brett,
Brett? Yeah. Again, I don't know how we can get through this whole episode without it being explicit. So.
Well, it is our 4th of July Independence Day special, so naturally we should be talking about the state of our nation.
The opposite of independence.
Yeah.
And the thing that I've long held, and when I was in middle school, as if it somehow mattered what I believed, I was like conservative.
You were. I can confirm that.
I was very much like, George W.
He was.
And then I remember around the Obama times, I was rooting for Obama to win. Probably because of the mishandling of the, and then now I would say I'm pretty fiercely liberal, if not just to piss off conservatives, but also like human rights and stuff.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it used to be that they used to say, oh, you can disagree on politics and still be friends. It's like, yeah, if we're talking about like where to put the library or like how high taxes should be on the purchase of eggs or whether or not to, put a jail next to a kindergarten, things of that nature.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we can probably be friends and dispute that. When we disagree about fundamental human rights in a country built on freedom and freedom specifically from religious persecution, which, by the way, means you should be able to believe any or no religion. Thank you. Get fucked. That's what I have to say. We're not going to be Facebook friends. Get out of here. It's not insignificant,
I that's impressive. I like your stance. I myself have always had liberal leanings, I guess you'd say. My mom was a teacher, although she voted for not Clinton, if I remember correctly. And my dad was former Air Force, so he was supposed to vote Republican and he voted Democrat. So
hey, you can't be in the armed services and vote Democrat. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
The problem is that it reminds me, we've talked about this before, the newsroom episode where Jeff Daniels does that speech on how America's not the greatest country in the world. And while I don't agree with a lot of what's in there, it also makes a lot of good points how there's a lot of ways in which we're not the best country in the world. And we are not that free of a country. Yeah. But he goes into this whole thing about how part of the reason that liberals lose so fucking always. And I'm like, he's got a good point. We just roll over and take it.
Yep. I mean, there's people protesting in cities that still have abortion.
Yeah, but specifically Democrats. Democrats are we just fucking lose. It's ridiculous.
I mean, it's just now, even after everything we've been through in the past 2 years, we're just now seeing people be like, AOC had a good tweet in the last day or two. Are you familiar with
I know who she is. I don't know what the tweet was.
So she basically said, we need to stop. We are explicit, right? We need to stop being pussies, and we need to. By the way, that's not the word she used.
It's not weird, even though that's not actually that doesn't relate to the feminine equivalent body part. It's a shortened version of another word that's not related to that.
Right. Either way, she just said Democrats need to stop just being like, oh, give us $6 to help us support. Yes. You need to set goals and you need to define clearly.
Did you see that Jane Lynch meme?
No.
I'm going to find that.
And she's exactly what you were saying. We need to be on the offensive, not be surprised when shit like this happens. And I think I saw another one before we started where someone was just like, hey idiots, stop voting the way you feel and stop treating it like it's a Valentine, your vote like it's a Valentine, and start treating it like it's a game of chess.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Like, yes, Biden won the presidency. That was nice. That made me feel warm and fuzzy for a hot minute. But we lost everything else.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's really sad. I was talking to my friend about this, and he lives in Portland, which I think Portland scares conservatives. They're afraid they're going to catch a disease, which they think that. Oh, never mind.
I mean, they will because there's a lot.
But I was talking about the fact that the whole reason that going into gun rights, we probably shouldn't get too far into this, but the whole reason the Second Amendment was created was so that people could not become oppressed by their government, right? Mm-hmm. The problem is the oppressors are the ones with all the goddamn guns.
Yeah.
But apparently there's like these actually fairly well-armed like leftist groups within Portland. Mm-hmm. And like some of them have pride themed AR-15s and stuff. That's amazing. I love that.
I mean, just someone the other day was telling me about like people that are firebombing the protesters of like Planned Parenthood. I'm like, okay, that might be a little too extreme.
A little far, but like, can we stop losing so much? And why? Yeah. It's just, I don't know. It's real crazy. This is the 4th of July special. I'm not feeling very patriotic right now because this is not a free country. It's just really sad.
For half of us are right. Like The right to choose has been taken away.
Or the right to speed and not be shot because you're black. I mean, just going into everything here. I mean, if we're going to go into it.
Let's do it.
You know, it's just like, geez, yeah, we have 3 minutes. Let's solve this. And I imagine by now, well, we don't have that many listeners anyway, probably.
We actually do. So the last two... the last two namely 90s minutes got 236 views and 130 something, and that kind of bled over into the YouTube episodes, which they did not tell me the last 3 episodes. Technically, the 3 episodes before last week had double audio mixed in because I forgot to pull out the raw video audio. So thank you, everyone that is watching this, for just leaving a comment telling me that I screwed up for an entire month.
Yeah, and you're going to lose some of your listeners. Well, I don't really give a shit. And also, half of our listeners aren't Republicans or conservatives. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you that right now. Most of them are from other countries who look at us and just laugh.
Yeah. And you know, if you clicked on our video from a Namely 90s Minute and A, got this far, and B, for some reason came back after the terrible audio quality of the last three episodes, I'm sorry. That was my bad. Also, Mac is fucked.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're part of the problem, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Thank you for playing. Thank you for listening. We'll take some different listeners.
Double E tag there.
Yeah. E tag.
Yeah. Don't you have women to victimize?
And a snowflake tag. Taking it back. Taking it back.
Anyway, what were we doing?
This is our 4th of July special, our Independence Day special.
Independence Day.
And let's just wonder what the term independence means. It apparently means that you can't control your body if you're a woman. No, sorry. Independence Day.
Something about the king? Yeah, I don't know.
It is the 4th of July today, which is the day in which Americans declared... I don't know.
Independence from the British?
Independence, that's the word I was looking for. Yeah. And then some aliens attacked, and Bill Pullman was like, today is the world's Independence Day. Right. Bill Pullman is George Washington in Independence Day. And I don't know if that happened in a fever dream or a movie or in real life, but it feels like I would rather live in the world where Los Angeles and the Washington, D.C. and all the major cities around the world have been blown up than where we are currently. How about just the cities in Texas? What do you think of that? I mean, they do have some populous cities. They would have been killed in between the time it took the spaceship. But the aliens, of course, would be doing this, would be perpetrating this. Yes, of course. And you know, we'll lose Austin, but also but I think, I mean, to be fair, domestic terrorism is pretty much exclusively a conservative thing, in case you're wondering. I mean, people are going to dispute that, but something about firebombing Planned Parenthood people or protesters. It's complicated. It's complicated. It's like a relationship on Facebook. What does he even say? There's terrible people on both sides. There's very good people, very fine people on both sides. We're just at a point where. But anyway, this weekend's been tiring. So who couldn't know the movie Independence Day? People born after 1999. Okay, 96, 94 even. I remember. Yes. I was just gonna say. I remember. I was with my mom in the car. I feel like, or my dad, and I remember my brother was at the movie the day it came out. But that's all I remember about like when it actually came out. So it was released July 3rd, 1996. I was 8, probably too young to watch this film. Yes. What was the first big blockbuster we got to see by ourselves? No idea. Pearl Harbor. Ben Affleck flick? No, thank you. Oh, it was that's Michael Bay though. It had like nothing to do with historical reality, I found out. Yeah, I just
almost
said
nothing.
I just said Michael Bay. Yes.
Is it because it happened in a bay? Was it a bay?
Harbor.
Oh.
Thus Pearl Harbor.
Michael Harbor was already booked, so they went with Michael Bay. Wow, I just made myself look like a complete fucking idiot. Good God. Listen, it's late.
Mm-hmm.
I've had several drinks, which I've sobered up from, but now I have a massive headache, so I'm going to blame it on that.
He's doing this hungover, just like you're going to be doing listening to this.
I'm
tomorrow.
hungover, but it's still the same day.
Yes, Independence Day was a large-scale disaster film from Roland Emmerich and directed by Emmerich and written by Emmerich and Dean Devlin. I can get more into this in the Namely 90s Minute this week, but it is one of the highest grossing films in 1996, which surpasses both Twister and the first Mission Impossible film. It was the second highest grossing film ever at the time, behind Jurassic Park from 1993. And the idea for this came from after Emmerich and Devlin were in Europe promoting the movie Stargate. And a reporter asked Emmerich why he made films like Stargate if he didn't believe in aliens. And then Emmerich was like, well, he's still fascinated with the idea
That's
of
a
aliens
stupid
arriving.
question.
I mean,
It's like saying J.K. Rowling doesn't believe in wizards.
or
Like, yeah,
trans
they
people.
don't exist. You idiot.
Yeah.
I'm mad.
J.K. Rowling also doesn't believe in
Trans people
either, so that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Because she can't write about them either. A reporter asked, so they asked the question, and then that made Emmerich turn to Devlin and be like, got an idea for a new movie. And that was this movie.
And that was this movie.
I definitely didn't see it in theaters either, but I know I watched it. We had it on VHS because I remember that. A VHS, for those of you younger than us, is a videotape. It's a video cassette, and you can watch it on a VCR.
Yeah, or you can watch this on USA, which had a lot of commercials, but it was in high def.
It was on Prime.
Son of a bitch. Okay, here's what happens. I have Xfinity. It has a voice remote. Yep. Typically, you can just speak into the voice remote. It'll bring up the movie. It'll bring up all the watch options. It was on USA and HD. It was on Tubi and standard def. And I could buy it through Xfinity. But the one thing I always forget is that it doesn't integrate fully with Prime. So a lot of times it's not listed. And I didn't look. No wonder it took so long.
I feel like pointing out earlier in the week, I said my suggested Prime viewing is all Bond films and Independence Day.
I should have known.
I think I said it that day that you watched. Yeah. I should have told you. I'm sorry. That explains why your version took 5 hours to watch.
Dang it.
I swear I started buying at 10 o'clock and it took me until 12:40 to finish. It took an
eternity. It's a 2 hour, 20 minutes.
Two and a quarter. Yeah.
Whew. That's rough.
It's a long movie because it starts with everyone separated and then they eventually come together.
I couldn't believe the sheer amount of scenes in this movie. It became very evident as I was watching it. I was like, man.
I remember the model work, the ships blowing up the White House, that looks real. I have to say, in high def, it doesn't look as real when they blow up Los Angeles and all the buildings, structures get blown out, but leave I don't know. I think it still holds up better than the sequel, which we'll get to a little bit later. Anything more about what you remember about? I almost said Stargate, Independence Day. You like this movie though, right?
Yeah. We watched this movie so many times. And I reference things from it all the time.
Must Go Faster.
Must Go Faster. I refer to things as the Freak Show a lot of times, which I don't think you're allowed to say anymore.
See, I didn't realize until later in life, which is like the last 10 years or so, that the crazy scientist dude is Data from Star Trek.
Yeah, I know.
Brent Spiner.
I learned that a bit ago.
Yeah.
And he doesn't look like him. And then it doesn't look like how he looks now at all.
He's gotten older and
yeah,
bald.
Well, that happens.
He's bald. The hair's not real
yeah,
in the movie. Yeah.
But yeah, it's a classic.
Young Adam Baldwin from Firefly.
Wait.
He's
not related to the Baldwins, though, is he?
No, but he looks like he is.
Yeah, kind of. Oh, I remember him from the X-Files.
Yes. He was also in The Hunt for Red October, I think. No, that was the actual Baldwin brother. No, they're both in it.
Who?
Anyway, Adam Baldwin and Alec Baldwin.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he was from the X-Files. That's where I know him from.
Yeah. He's been in a lot of sci-fi. A lot of Fox sci-fi. Want to play a match game?
Sure.
So I think I grabbed 10. All right, so this is star-studded cast, as we were just saying.
Yes.
And I have grabbed 10 stars that also appear in other sci-fi franchises.
Okay.
That is Will Smith, Bill Pullman, Jeff Goldblum, Mary McDonnell. Mary McDonnell was the first lady.
Okay.
Robert Loggia, who was one of the generals.
Robert Loggia's not on this list.
Oh, that's right. Robert Loggia and Randy Quaid are not on your list.
Still.
Vivica A. Fox, that was the girlfriend, Will Smith's girlfriend.
Yep.
Harvey Fierstein.
He played the funny, like, his boss or like coworker, the one who's like, I gotta call my lawyer.
Yep.
Forget my lawyer.
Adam Baldwin, Brent Spiner. Adam Baldwin, I just said. Brent Spiner, I just said who he was. Harry Connick Jr. Was the best friend pilot.
Who was Gemini? Who was Mae Whitman again? That was the little girl.
The president's daughter.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Who was Bill Pullman in this movie?
He was the president.
Okay. All right.
So, and then, I grouped them differently for you because I tried to keep them together by like association.
Okay.
And then,
I got a few of these, but I don't know what I'm going to do here.
I've left you a table. We have who's in the Men in Black franchise, who's in Spaceballs. Do you know what Spaceballs is?
I know them. I know of it.
Okay, then why would you say no? Oh, so Spaceballs is the Star Wars parody movie.
I know.
From like
I know. I don't know who's in. I don't know which one of these people's in it, but I'm gonna do my best.
All right. I asked, do you know what it is? And you said I know of. Okay.
I mean, no. I know, yeah. I haven't. Have I seen it? Part of it.
No, you said the word no, so I assumed that meant you didn't know what it was. Jurassic Park franchise. We have Battlestar Galactica series. That's the reboot from the 2000s.
Okay.
We're skipping Loggia and Randy Quaid, which I had down for GTA 3 and National Lampoon's Vacation.
Okay.
All right. We also have Sharknado franchise, Mulan franchise, Firefly, Serenity, the Star Trek franchise, Iron Giant as a voice. Put that in there. And we also have a voice actor from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
All right.
Do you have a at your leisure? Do you just want to go down the list?
Well, let's start with. I'll do what I can. So, Men in Black.
Okay.
You may want to write this down. I don't know.
I'm writing it down.
Is obviously Will Smith.
Yep.
It's a gimme. I'm gonna pass on Spaceballs for now.
Okay.
Jurassic Park. Jeff Goldblum. Yay. Battlestar Galactica. Are
you checking them off as you go so you remember who's?
I'll remember.
Okay.
Mary McDonnell for Battlestar.
Okay.
Sharknado pass for now. Harvey Fierstein goes with Mulan.
Okay.
Firefly. I'm gonna think about that one. Star Trek.
Okay.
Brent Spiner, obviously.
Okay. So you listened to one thing I said today.
I knew that. I actually did know that. Believe it or not. Iron Giant. I want to go with Harry Connick Jr.
Why? Why is that speaking to you?
Just the time frame. Wasn't he kind of popular then?
I guess so. I didn't realize who Harry Connick Jr. was. I knew the name, but didn't put.
Yeah, he's like that kind of like Louisiana crooner guy.
Yeah, well, he
also had a show.
He was on Will and Grace too.
Was he?
Grace's husband.
He also had the Harry Connick Jr. show, I believe. I believe he had a daytime talk show.
Daytime. That was in the last 10 years.
He's kind of cool, actually. Man, now I'm getting into some real...
So the voice of the Iron Giant, I believe, was Vin Diesel. If that helps.
Is it really?
Yep.
No.
Yep.
What?
Yeah, before he was like big. No Googling because of the thing that you're currently doing.
No, it's fine. I just saw Vin Diesel's face and I clicked out.
Okay.
I'm surprised by that. He was also in Band of Brothers. Did you know that?
Vin Diesel was in Band of Brothers?
Yes.
I did not know that.
Briefly. Might be, but it was before he was super famous.
Gotcha.
So we're left with essentially Spaceballs, Sharknado,
correct.
Firefly, Iron Giant, and Avatar: The Last Airbender.
You said Harry Connick Jr. for Iron Giant.
Okay, I'm going to stick with that.
Okay, so yes.
Well,
do you need hints?
Should I put him with? I think I should put him with Avatar. Actually,
who?
Harry Connick.
Okay.
He seems like a voice actor, doesn't he?
I mean, he seems like
he would be a voice actor as part of an ensemble cast.
Well, there's two voice acting because Iron Giant is also voice acting.
Yeah, boy. No, I'm putting Harry Connick Jr. back to Iron Giant.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay, I might need clues because I don't know where to put. Well, hold on.
Oh.
Mae Whitman.
Mae Whitman. Egg from Arrested Development. That's George Michael's girlfriend.
I'm going to need hints. I'm sorry.
She was also in Scott Pilgrim.
I'll take some hints. They don't have to be too specific, but I need some hints here.
Okay. Well, for Firefly, I already told you this earlier in the episode.
Did you really?
I did. And for Sharknado, I think you should just logic it out of the four people that are remaining. Spaceballs. The character was called Lone Star, and he has the classic scene where he uses his wasn't a lightsaber, but it was a lightsaber that came out of his ring that he positioned down towards his crotch when he fought against Darth Helmet, played by the nerdy guy from Ghostbusters.
Wasn't there only one more guy on my list?
No, you have Bill Pullman, Adam Baldwin.
Oh, I think Bill Pullman was in Spaceballs.
Okay.
I'm not going to Google that, but I'm pretty sure he was.
Well, the whole point is you are playing a game where you are guessing.
I know. I'm just saying that's my guess, and I could be wrong, and people are probably screaming at their
We're locking
podcast.
in. That leaves Vivica A. Fox, Adam Baldwin, and Mae Whitman with Sharknado, Firefly / Serenity, or Avatar: The Last Airbender. For Firefly, you are trying to fill in the character Jane. The character Jane.
Well,
and my clue for Sharknado was you can logic it out. I want to say
Mae Whitman for Sharknado.
The person that definitely had the least of a career after this movie. You're saying Mae Whitman for Sharknado?
Well, no, because I've got Mae Whitman, Vivica A. Fox, and Adam Baldwin left.
Yep.
You said she. No. That was for Firefly.
No, I said the character for Firefly is named Jane.
Which is usually a woman's name.
That is correct.
So it's Adam Baldwin.
I may have said it earlier in the episode.
Did you really?
I didn't specifically say he played Jane.
Oh, boy.
So that leaves...
You're throwing me off here. Okay.
Yeah, that leaves Vivica A. Fox for Sharknado or Avatar: The Last...
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give Sharknado to Vivica A. Fox, I guess.
Because she had the least career after this?
Didn't she? I think, isn't Mae Whitman kind of up and coming?
Who's to say?
So I put Mae Whitman with Avatar.
Mae Whitman with Avatar. Oh. Congratulations, Andrew. You got that 100% correct.
What?
Yeah. Will Smith,
my God.
Men in Black. Bill Pullman was in Spaceballs. Jeff Goldblum, as you know, was Jurassic Park. Mary McDonnell was the president for Battlestar Galactica.
She was.
Vivica A. Fox was in at least two Sharknado movies.
Ripped to the max to her career.
She did some other stuff, but I think like this was the 90s were her peak. Harvey Fierstein was who was he in?
He's like that little weird red guy or whatever.
The
Mushu?
The one wearing the
Mushu.
red. No, that was Eddie Murphy.
Oh, right. Oh, sorry. No. That's the only name I remember.
he was one of the three friends.
Yeah. Okay. That voice. Yeah.
The army,
that's actually in my notes. I said, LOL, this guy's voice. I feel like he voices a Disney animated character, but I can't remember what movie.
Nice. Adam Baldwin played Jane Cobb in Firefly /Serenity. And
he gave me some hints, to be fair.
Yeah. He did not like it when people said that was a girl's name. Brent Spiner was Data in the Star Trek franchise, as well as like 3 different versions of his ancestors or creator's ancestor. And creator and brother robot and other brother robot.
Got it.
Android. Sorry. Harry Connick Jr. was a voice in the Iron Giant. Dean. I don't know.
Kane?
I never saw the movie.
He played Dean Kane in Iron Giant.
It looks like it says Dean McCooper.
Okay.
Copper. And Mae Whitman, who has a great acting career, but nothing else in sci-fi other than like Scott Pilgrim, is a voice in Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Wow.
Well done.
I mean, you gave me some hints, but I feel like I did okay on that.
I think, I mean, even without the hints, you were at 60% before we got to the last 4. And I think the only one that I really pushed you off of was Mae Whitman for Sharknado. So you did well. I'm impressed.
All right. Great.
So, especially since you have no idea who anyone is ever. So let's talk about Independence Day Resurgence.
Let's do that.
Right quick.
Do I need to admit something here?
That you've never seen
I've never seen it.
I've probably for the best, honestly. It's a 2016 American science fiction action film directed by Roland Emmerich and written by himself and Dean Devlin.
And James Woods. Not that James Woods.
And James Vanderbilt.
Not that James Vanderbilt.
Gotcha. It was a sequel to this movie that we're talking about. It had Liam Hemsworth,
wow,
Jeff Goldblum, Bill Pullman, Micah Monroe replacing Mae Whitman, Travis Tope.
You can just stop. Let's just say the names we've heard.
And Judd Hirsch. And Judd Hirsch returns. He's a much younger actor than like for being Jeff Goldblum's father.
He seems old, but I think it's just I don't know.
Yeah, because it takes place 20 years after the events of the first film, during which the United Nations has formed the Earth Space Defense and International Military Defense and Research Organization. Through reverse engineering, they fused the power of the alien technology with humanity's and laid the groundwork to resist a second invasion. Although I feel like they said the technology doesn't work when the their mothership's not around.
Well, maybe they found a way to activate it.
Fair enough. And I think they did say that in the film. It was one of Robert Loggia's final projects before he died. Rip to the max, Robert
Rip to the
Loggia.
max. Yeah.
And it's dedicated in his memory. Will Smith, Emmerich announced that Will Smith wouldn't be returning. He was shooting Suicide Squad at the same time.
Wow. So he was starring in an amazing film.
Yeah. Didn't we talked about it on next week's episode randomly.
Yeah.
And now it's in this week's. Smith's absence in the movie explained because his character died off screen as a test.
It's better
pilot.
when they just try to use someone else for the same character and like never acknowledge it.
Oh, you mean like the two children in the movie?
Yeah.
Because it's the kid Dylan, his stepson, and
well, you can do that. I mean, look at This Is Us.
President's daughter. That's true.
But it would have been cool if they used the same people.
Yeah, well, they're technically older than
old,
the 20-year gap, I think.
Yeah. And old people never play young people.
Right. My favorite review was from Mike Ryan of Uprocks, which gave the film a negative review, saying, "This should be dumb fun. It's just dumb."
I just think that's such a trite review to give, though. Like, you get to decide if you want it to be dumb or dumb fun. And I feel like coming in with a preconceived notion is how that's determined, not by the actual quality of the movie.
That's fair. But the film is not good.
No, okay. I mean, I'll give you that.
Yeah. Rotten Tomatoes has an approval rating of 30% on 226 reviews. Average rating of 4.26 out of 10. Metacritic has a score of 32 out of 100. It's the consensus on Rotten Tomatoes is it's undeniably visually impressive. But like its predecessor, Independence Day Resurgence lacks enough emotional heft to support its end of the world narrative stakes. The aliens come back and they're stronger this time because apparently the last mothership was not a mothership.
It was a daughter ship, and the rest of them were granddaughter ships.
Basically, yes.
I don't need to watch this movie, do I?
I mean, you like Jeff Goldblum to the extent that you will watch things for Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, well, I'm like to the extent where I want to go back and watch season 9 of Law and Order Criminal Intent, but I'm not sure if I want to watch this.
I wouldn't.
Jeff Goldblum also funny in the movie The Switch with Jennifer Aniston and Jason Bateman, which is a good movie, actually.
I mean, we had an argument over Thor Ragnarok last night, so...
Thor Love and Thunder?
Well, yes, but Jeff Goldblum was in Thor Ragnarok. And was...
No, we don't need to get back into that, but I was just saying, I hope it's a success for the people who like that kind of thing.
Anyway.
Because I know I'm not going to like it. Like, we all know this. That's not, we're not like, oh, Andrew doesn't like it. What a shock, you know?
I'm surprised, yes. I'm just saying, the third one, man, I know the first two sucked, but the third one has Jeff Goldblum in it, and it's a completely different style of movie.
Okay.
But this one sucked. Independence Day Resurgence. I can't.
To be fair, the second time I saw the trailer for the Thor thing, it looked better. I think I just was like kind of vaguely paying attention to it, like while scrolling my phone. I was like, what the fuck is this?
I'll be fair as well. If you watch like the most recent trailer, there's a bunch of screaming giant goats, and I was like, well, if you saw this one.
Yeah, it was the goat one.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell?
I can understand how you would think this is.
Is it like the Taylor Swift screaming goat song? Have you seen that video?
Yes, I'm familiar, but it's been quite some time.
I'll send it to you when I find it.
Shall we head on to Name It Annie's Minute so our listeners can get the lowdown on Independence Day while
Sure.
Welcome back to our mid-episode break, namely 90s Minute. Every week we look back at a culturally relevant show, movie, or piece of pop culture that probably helps stoke the algorithm. This week, in honor of Independence Day, we're looking back at the Roland Emmerich classic, Independence Day. Independence Day is a 1996 science fiction action film written by Roland Emmerich and Dean Devlin, starring an ensemble cast with the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air as a Marine F-18 pilot, Lone Star from Spaceballs as the president, Dr. Ian Malcolm as a tech geek, President Rosalind from Battlestar Galactica as the first lady, Alex from Taxi as the tech geek's dad, Cousin Eddie from National Lampoon's Vacations franchise as a drunk crop duster father, Blair Waldorf's mom from Gossip Girl as the tech geek's ex-wife, Copperhead from Kill Bill as the stripper girlfriend of the pilot, Carrie Matheson's dad on Homeland as the Secretary of Defense, the brother of Mrs. Doubtfire as a co-worker of the tech geek, Jane from Firefly as the CEO of Area 51, Data from Star Trek as the crazy Area 51 scientist guy, Grace's husband from Will and Grace as the pilot's best friend, the daughter from Mrs. Doubtfire as the daughter of the drunk guy, and Egg from Arrested Development as the president's daughter. The movie opens up on July 3rd as a giant spacecraft appears from the dark side of the moon and 15 saucers from it descend over the planet Earth over the most populated cities. The President of the United States decides to stay in the White House because the media keeps calling him a pussy, which is helpful for the plot because his communications director is the ex-wife of the Fly, who figures out that the alien spacecraft are sending signals using Earth's satellite system. He then convinces his dad to drive him from New York to Washington, D.C. so he can use his ex-wife to tell the president about it. They all fly away before aliens attack all the cities and blow up the White House. Next, Agent J flies his squadron of F-18s in a counter-assault where they get massacred except for him because he manages to fly from LA to Area 51 and crash an alien spacecraft in a canyon. He punches the alien in the face, then drags it to Area 51 with the help of an RV convoy led by Dennis Quaid's drunk brother. The president lands at Area 51 as well, where they learn that the US knew about aliens forever, and they try to figure out countermeasures while the aliens are destroying the rest of the world's major cities and military installations. In the end, Grandmaster and Bad Boys fly an alien ship to the mothership to plant a virus that causes their shields to go down on all their spacecraft so the humans can retaliate, and we end with the Amish bowler from Kingpin sacrificing himself to save everyone in Area 51. And that's Independence Day in a namely 90s minute. More or less.
And now back to the show. It was weird and fast, sorry. Anywhere you want to go?
How about we start talking about Independence Day?
Yeah, finally.
Or our Independence Day
year
special.
was 1776. No, I'm sorry.
Aliens appeared and signed a treaty with the founding fathers.
Actually, the native peoples were alien. No, I'm sorry.
Oh, technically, yes, I see. We were technically the aliens.
Why don't you go back to the country you came from? And they're like, I'm Native American, jackass.
If you don't like this country, just get out of here. It's like, wait, no, this is
what? Okay. Well, so here we are. It's the beginning of the movie as we know it. No, sorry.
Yeah, it starts on July 2nd.
Yes.
We see the moon, dark side of the moon.
Yeah, but the thing, there's like that whole thing about how the flag shouldn't be flying because of like gravity or whatever. It's like perfectly straight out, probably because it's like a diorama, but still.
It shouldn't be.
Conspiracy theory.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
they actually explained why it should have been flapping at some point on like Mythbusters or somewhere else, but
motion exists. Like it's in space. The motion would be contained within the. Anyway,
yeah, moving on.
So they did the thing where they're like SETI, or no, he called it SETI, and then said the search for extraterrestrial
intelligence.
Yes, it was just like no one says SETI. They say SETI.
Yeah,
SETI. Since the Star Trek.
I noticed. Well, first of all, I thought it was super. I always thought it was funny. They played REM's "It's the End of the World as We Know It," which may not be the actual title.
No, it's the end of the world as we know it. Okay. And in parenthesis, I feel fine. Close parenthesis.
And then the guy who wakes up in the bed and like hits his head on the bunk, he's famous somehow, but he's uncredited in this movie. You can find him on IMDb.
And who was it?
I didn't have a chance to write it down, but like, doesn't he seem famous to you? I don't know. Not like highly famous.
Was that not Robert Loggia?
And I'm not like super great at science or math, but how did she determine how far the signal was coming away from? Like, it's coming from the moon. Like, how would you decide that?
Most likely the refresh rate on it.
Okay.
Because Jeff Goldblum explained it was
recycling or something like that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and with anyway, I took engineering courses in college.
Sure.
They set up the president being Bill Pullman, and also the media kept telling him that he's too weak. He seems weak. So
right.
Instead of fleeing when he should have, he's like, I'm going to stay here and talk.
So instead of fleeing like he should have, he bans abortion. No, I'm sorry.
Why did you think he was dead?
I don't know. I was like, oh, Bill Pullman, what a treasure. And then I looked him up and he was still alive. It was like Steve Perry from Journey. I thought he was dead. He just quit the band.
Twice. Well, his
voice too. Yeah, I mean,
his vocal cords are dead,
but
right? That's
he also, I think he quit the band like when he still could sing, though. To be fair,
yeah, but then he found the replacement.
Bill Pullman, not dead,
Asian guy.
However,
and then he came back and kicked him out.
Here's why I thought he was dead.
Hasn't done a movie in a while.
I think his character gets killed in The Equalizer 2.
Connie's hair is great.
It is. It's spectacular.
I don't even know who Connie is. Is that his wife?
No, that's like the chief of staff or like press
gotcha.
lady. Oh, Pedro Pascal is in The Equalizer too?
That makes sense. Yeah, so we're introduced to Bill Pullman. We're introduced to Judd Hirsch as Jeff Goldblum's dad. We're introduced to Jeff Goldblum playing chess with his father, then beating him, and then leaving.
No, he literally physically strikes his dad. No, I'm sorry. He beats him at chess.
Yes.
I do love that Judd Hirsch is his dad. It's just like perfect.
They're a great duo, especially because Jeff Goldblum's character has like flying sickness, and
I would like to say, for some reason in my mind, Jeff Goldblum had like
is also dead
a tight perm in Jurassic Park, but
he did. Yes.
No, he doesn't. I look back.
No, it's a mullet.
Yeah, it's like a mullet, but it's not like it's not like I thought he had curly hair. I don't know why.
I thought it's a little Jerry Curly.
Well, maybe. So I just said, is it naturally curly like in JP, or is this normal hair? Did he have a tight perm in Jurassic Park? He did not.
He did not have a tight perm, no. But he had locks. He had some flowing hair in JP because he had the shirt open, and then I also just looked at it because I did it for the Daily 90s Minute. Of course, I don't know, the I Love X-Files 2 thing. That was
I know, they're trying to get their cable. The thing that drove, like, I didn't quite understand is they were like, it's as if our satellites aren't even there. I'm like, then why is there any signal? Like, it wouldn't be bad signal. It just wouldn't be there.
I think they misspoke because Jeff Goldblum determines the satellites are there. It's just being like,
right. Good thing he's there.
Out.
Yeah.
Right? Because literally Area 51 scientists didn't realize what was going on.
Like a computer virus. What's that? I mean, to be fair, it was 1996.
That's true. But it's just like the bandwidth is being used by the aliens to spread their signal, which makes sense because they're a highly evolved race with interstellar travel. They most likely have something better than radio band frequencies.
Couldn't the ships just bounce the signal to each other? I don't know.
Well, with the drawing,
I do like where he's like, you're talking
curvature of the Earth.
Oh, well, it's a little bit later in the movie, but he's like drawing a picture for the president. He's like, You see, if you have a ship here and the Earth is here and you've got two ships there, how do you communicate? And the president's like, you're talking about line of sight. I'm like, wow, thanks, detective. You're the president. Good Lord.
Well, he used to be a pilot.
Yeah, I know, but like,
kind of makes sense.
You're talking about line of sight. Okay.
So yeah, we also learned that David is very into not smoking and anti-styrofoam and pro recycling.
Yes, which apparently all of our recycling just gets shipped to China to be burned anyway. But that's beside the point.
I thought it used to, and now it doesn't, and that's why we can't like recycle
anything.
Like, exactly. Yeah. at least we thought we were doing some good with it.
Recycle the ashes. I don't know.
Yeah. Also, so we meet Randy Quaid as deadbeat drunk cliche crop duster. I was abducted by aliens. Former war veteran.
I have to say, I mean, this is me. I really hate every scene featuring that family.
Kids. Okay.
And like the older kid, I don't know his name.
No idea.
The oldest kid, after he dusts the wrong field, he's like, just what in the hell do you think you're doing? I'm like, who is this actor? Like, that was the worst delivery of a line I've ever seen. It was so unbelievable.
His character was...
Is crop dusting still a thing? Like, I mean, other than farting and walking.
I mean, yes, I feel like they do it more efficiently now with like tractors and not like flying crop dusting. Yeah. But yes, that the older brother is played by James Duval. His character was Miguel.
Really? Huh.
Yes, not that James Duval.
Okay. That was Robert Duvall.
Yes. Lisa Jacob is the daughter. And she is the older daughter from Mrs. Doubtfire, if that wasn't made clear in the Namely 90s Minute that everyone just listened to. And what else? There's a scene further along in the movie where she's like about to lose her virginity to some random kid. That random kid was in a TV series called Hey Dude on Nickelodeon, and every time I see it, I'm like, hey, it's that guy. Yeah, and I have no idea what his name is.
I actually went and looked that up, and his name is crap.
Andrew Keegan.
Yes, and he's in a bunch of stuff. I'm like, this dude looks super familiar. Who is this?
Oh, that's not the dude from Hey Dude. That's the dude from 10 Things I Hate About You.
He's in a bunch, yeah. He's not a bunch, but like a few bunch.
Party of Five, Seventh Heaven, Moesha. Yeah, he's the douchebag kid from 10 Things I Hate About You who's trying to get the younger sister to date him, so he pays Heath Ledger to take out her older sister, played by whatever Julia Stiles. Yeah. Anyway, I forgot about that. That wasn't in the Namely 90s Minute.
Oh well.
And then we see President Pullman's daughter. I don't remember his actual name. Played by Mae Whitman. And we've already talked about that enough. Will Smith enters the movie with the term earthquake.
Earthquake.
Yes, he really likes to slur those THs in this movie. Could have been in a barbecue.
That might be offensive.
He wakes up next to Vivica Fox. I don't remember anyone's actual character names in this movie. Jasmine. Does she have a sex worker name?
I don't think stripping is considered sex work.
I thought someone said that.
Okay, all right, fine. Sorry.
No, I was. I thought someone recently said that out of the three people that we know, I thought it was a blanket term. Anyway, stripper then.
Yeah. And let's see, more stuff happens.
Widespread
people panic. Oh,
rednecks make fun of Randy Quaid.
Oh, that's actually a pretty funny sequence.
Because he thinks the government and Hollywood is trying out to kill him. Wait, that might be real.
But life. I remember that there's a sequence where they send the AWACS plane up there to like get reconnaissance.
And it just like explodes.
They're like, first of all, I said, how little do you want to be on this plane? And then second of all, they like put him on speakerphone, and this like massive like ghetto old AT&T like conference phone was so ridiculous. Mm-hmm. And they're like, wait, maybe clearing. Okay, daylight is not orange. And I wrote that. Yeah, that's an MF fireball. And they just immediately become incinerated.
MF Fireball is the highest form of fireball that you can use in Final Fantasy VIII. Yeah, we want to advise you not to panic.
Yeah, there's another scene later where they say something funny like that too.
Yeah. So the rednecks are making fun of Randy Quaid, and then the world shakes and aliens appear, and Randy Quaid's like, "I told you, motherfuckers."
Yeah, which is funny because in The Day After Tomorrow, Dennis Quaid warns them that the Earth is okay. Never mind.
Will Smith gives his girlfriend's son a bag of firecrackers as he's leaving, or fireworks as he's leaving to.
I did say two things about Will Smith. Like the dog wakes him up with the shoe, and I just said, "Oh, so should Will Smith just slap the shit out of the dog?"
Thought we could get through this without a Chris Rock reference, but
I didn't remember Will Smith having a mustache, and he does have it for the whole movie, right? Like, why wouldn't he? I guess, but
yep. It makes a cigar look more authentic.
And then I did say, why does it seem progressive to have like a black, non-traditional, like unwed family featured in a 90s movie? Oh, because we still live in the dark ages here in this country.
Especially when one of them is a stripper.
And then I'm
pretty sure it falls under the
just to round out the scene, the president says, "We advise everyone to evacuate in an orderly fashion." And like before he finishes the word fashion, it just cuts to like horns honking and people running around and being crazy. And then
this is as David and his father are trying to drive to DC to warn them.
But one of my absolute favorite things I always found funny was when Vivica A. Fox's character or Jasmine, he's like, "Why are you acting this way?" And she's like, "Listen, bitch." And she just like goes over to the curtains and like throws them open. It was a good performance. I liked it.
That's fair. Also, like, so her coworker, the one that's like, "I'm gonna go to the top of the tower with a sign to greet the aliens." She was in your favorite show, Saved by the Bell. The college.
I know. I looked her up because I was like, yeah, but that whole like party at the top of the skyscraper looked so lame.
To be fair, it felt like it reminded me of being at the Star Wars convention.
And then like, "I hope they bring back Elvis." I'm like, and I just wrote, "I hope this." I realize this is going to be controversial, but Elvis fucking sucks.
Wow,
that's just me.
With the new Elvis movie coming out, wow. Yeah, but that's fair. You don't like any music from the 50s?
Really? No.
Or almost not the 60s either, with a few exceptions.
CCR, the Stones.
Yeah. I feel like there's a third one.
The Beach Boys. No. Yeah, anyway. Sorry.
I would buy you tickets to the next Beach Boys concert in Spokane if that was true. So the president says we should evacuate 30 minutes to the end of the countdown.
Well, I do love the comment when they're in the car and they're talking about how like David kind of like went to MIT or whatever. He's like 8 years in Judd Hirsch is like 8 years at MIT to become a cable repairman. They want HBO, they call you. That's pretty funny. How demeaning.
Yeah. Well, that's how that's a good depiction of a nice. What are they? Are they a Jewish family? I'm confused.
Well,
the New York family?
I guess so. But the thing that I noticed too is like they cut to the other family, the trashy family with Russell Case. And they're like, "We got to get out of here." And it's like, you're already in the middle of nowhere. Why are you leaving the middle of nowhere? I don't understand.
I think the implication was they were in a California suburb.
Didn't look like it.
Right. Weren't they? Like the RV park was like
maybe. Okay, I'll give you that.
Or like an LA suburb, and that's why they were able to drive 10 minutes and end up at Area 51 as well.
But Area 51 is very centrally located.
Yeah. It takes 420-ish miles to drive from LA to Lincoln, Nevada, where Area 51 is.
Is it by located. Rachel, Nevada? No, that's Roswell, isn't it?
Roswell, New Mexico.
I think Rachel. Anyway, yeah, but it was funny because like this isn't on the map, and it's like it is now. You can like look at it on Google Images if you want, Google Earth.
Well, you can't look at it; it's scrubbed from that.
No, you can see everything.
It's what? No,
yeah.
Okay, I'll be fair. I didn't. I think they call it the satellite
Groom Lake Air Base or something now, or something like that.
I couldn't even set a destination on Google Maps from LA to Area 51.
Oh, it's pretty easy.
No, I mean,
it wouldn't let you. I don't think Area
me,
51 is actually an official name of anything.
It pops up.
But I thought you just said it wouldn't do it. It wouldn't give you directions.
It would not give me directions to it. The location pops up, but it's scrubbed from the map. Like it's just a blank.
Oh, weird.
It's a blank square. But I didn't have satellite view on. Oh, you mentioned Andrew Keegan. Oh yeah, we both noted, do not shoot at the alien craft. You may inadvertently start an interstellar war. That was a great line.
The sad thing is, they would actually have to say that. That's the scary thing. Now.
Yeah. Well, also, isn't it the same thing as like shooting bullets into the air in Celebration? You could end up just killing yourself.
Yeah.
Or others around you.
But yes, that was funny. And then of course, the next scene is the point at which I always remember that this movie has Cuba Prince Connick Jr. in it. Because I always get those three people's names mixed up so badly.
Because it's a junior?
It's something about it. Because it always seems like it's three names, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
But I always get all of them mixed up.
It's literally just three people with junior.
I know. I'm telling you, every time.
Oh yeah. The lightest of homophobic jokes.
As I refer to light 90s homophobia when
But by the way, we just skipped over the hellfire raining down into Los Angeles.
Sorry.
Vivica her son, Jasmine, her son Dylan, and their dog Boomer escape into a tunnel with fire just consuming everything.
Yeah, even when
she kicks open a utility door. Yeah.
Even when I was young, I was skeptical of that, you know?
Yeah. Well, they leave the door open as the dog jumps in and the fire rushes behind them. The fire should have flowed in and torched them.
Yeah.
Right? I took fluid dynamics.
The thing that was confusing about the fire too is like the actual beam seemed to have like some explosive quality to it, but like there was nothing to sustain the reaction going forward. Like why was there fire moving forward? And also, why did the First Lady's helicopter get hit if they were flying above the fire?
That's a good question. How did Air Force One take off as fire was consuming?
That's a great scene, but yeah, that seems a little impractical.
As we learn in Die Hard 2, which I don't remember is either last week or next week. Yeah. If fire is on the tail of an airplane, well, I guess it has to be leaking gasoline. Sure. It'll explode the airplane.
Well, I don't think Air Force One has a leak.
True, but like physics wise, that should have stalled the plane with all the like just the fire and the air consumption. It would change the
yeah. I feel like you're right because the fireball in the leading edge of the fireball would be consuming most of the oxygen. So it seems suspect
changing the air
that
pressure.
There's enough oxygen to reach the engine for combustion and then enough thrust.
Mm-hmm.
And you're pushing against less dense air. So yeah, and then it affects the fluid dynamics of the wing structure. Yeah, it's suspect. I'll give you that.
But as I was told on all 90s action all the time, it's an action movie.
Yeah, don't think about it too much.
Yeah. Huff some paint. I don't think that's exactly what he said.
Wow.
Pretty sure I said that instead. Yeah. So where were we? President Bill Pullman says we should have evacuated the cities earlier at one point. When they're on Air Force One after all the cities have been destroyed. It's like, yeah, no fuck. It's alien ships with a countdown. And then the homophobia, the light homophobic joke.
Always. It was the 90s after all.
Mm-hmm. Harry Connick Jr. It first says, why was he getting on his knees?
He was saying Will Smith's character, Stephen Hiller, needs to perfect the art of kissing ass to get into NASA, to get into the astronaut program. And he's like, you need to get like, I mean, obviously it's so that they could do the homophobia joke, which was a plot device so they could explain that he was going to propose to Jasmine. But
with the ugliest ass
yeah,
ring.
exactly. I said that later.
2 dolphins circling a diamond, I think. Or a pearl?
It was a dolphin. It was a pearl. Well, was it a pearl? I don't know.
It was two dolphins in like a what's the snakes eating themselves?
Yeah. So they launch this counteroffensive. They get up into the jets and they're taking out these they're trying to shoot the big ship. And like their missiles just look so small. And then they just like bounce off.
There's a shield.
And they're trying, but USA did bleep out you did not just shoot that green shit at me when Will Smith. It's like, oh man.
Also, I noted they did the Porkins death scene. So there's one of the pilots is like,
pull up.
I'm locking. They're like, pull up, and he's like, I can't. I'm locking up, and then he just incinerates
into the shield.
The surface. Yeah.
Harry Connick Jr.'s folksy accent kind of pisses me off. And then he dies. So
is that his real accent?
Yeah, he's from like he's got like a Louisiana gumbo jambalaya.
I'm fairly sure fighter jets definitely do not move like that. Like you could see the CG of them just like translating across the screen.
Yeah, it's a bit much.
Yeah,
and then. So basically, unfortunately, Will Smith kind of runs away from the fight because they're losing it. Harry Connick Jr.'s character does get killed, unfortunately. And he's being chased by one of the little alien spaceships. But like it chases him through a canyon and then he like ejects at the last minute. So the ship crashes. And when he comes down in the parachute, like, is that not the most obvious Will Smith dummy that just crashes into the ground?
Yes. It's not even a person. It's not even a stunt person. It's just like a dummy, like a rigid dummy.
Because a real stunt double would actually be like controlling their descent probably. And like, because you can slow down in a parachute. If you have the right kind.
Is that how
you know what I mean? There's the certain kind that has like the things. I don't know if they have that in the jet or if it would just be like that hard hitting.
Yeah, I was confused. To screw over the alien spacecraft, he unleashed like the landing.
Yeah, the parachute to slow down the
parachutes,
plane.
Yeah, that you would find on like a aircraft carrier.
Yeah.
Which do Marines take off from aircraft?
They can.
Like why?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Marines are like somehow affiliated with the Navy, I believe.
Well, there are naval pilots. That's like Top Gun's naval pilots.
Yeah, but I think the Marines
have their own flying.
Yeah, I know they do. Absolutely. Maritime Land Force Service brand. Oh, parent organization, United States Department of the Navy. There you go. But they do have like their own bases and their own, but they do take off from Navy ships.
Okay,
they were taking off from El Toro base.
Right. Will Smith punches an alien in the face.
Yeah. The one thing is like him saying
exoskeleton.
Him saying welcome to Earth isn't as emphatic as I remember it. And I actually don't think he does Earth that strongly at that time.
Oh, I mean, it mixes down for sure because the alien. There's also a loud punching sound. Yeah. Also, punching an alien's exoskeleton, like they explain that like the exoskeleton's like some impenetrable armor,
he just
and
punches
him
them out.
Caused them to crash. So maybe some slight damage from that, but again, in an exosuit. And then he just punches it, and it's unconscious for like 3 hours as he drags it to Area 51.
I know, that's quite the punch.
Which is not an exaggeration. He says
3 hours.
It's been knocked out for about 3 hours.
I feel like he puts the cigar in his mouth. He's like, that's what I call a close encounter. LOL. Yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So they also wipe out NORAD, yet they don't know about Area 51.
Somehow, yeah. I guess good thing they didn't declassify it then. So then they're in the airplane in Air Force One talking about launching a nuclear strike. And David comes in, he's all like pissed off about it. And then his dad, old Judd Hirsch, comes in with his like complete whack job, like Jewish dad, insane theory.
Why you not believe him?
But yet not wrong.
Not wrong.
I always love the line where the Secretary of Defense goes, he's saying like, they've had this alien ship there at the Area 51 since 1940, whatever. And then he says, I can assure you, the president says, I can assure you, there are no aliens. There is no space ship. Then they cut to the Secretary of Defense and he goes, that's not entirely accurate. I love that.
And yeah, such a mousy way too.
Yeah.
And then Bill Pullman just turns back and like stares at him.
That guy's so smarmy. Ugh.
Yep. Also Will Smith yells, I could have been at a barbecue.
Yeah. And he kicks the thing. He does go back and kick the alien some more.
True. Wouldn't that rouse them more?
Well, if he kicked him in the head, probably not, but
again, exosuit.
Yeah, true.
Which at no point did they say it was like damaged. And yeah, so Randy Quaid picks up Will Smith with his RV crew. They all get to Area 51. We're introduced to
I do love
Brent.
I do love how they get into the Area 51. Like, I'm sorry, sir. They like salute. They're like, I'm sorry, sir. You're not authorized. Oh, you want to see my authorization? Pulls.
Yeah, pulls the thing back. And the guy's just, what did he say in your version? Because I'm pretty sure he says, holy shit.
I don't remember what he says. And then they were like, let him through. And then Will Smith's like, get out of the way. Like the other guys are like blocking him.
Yeah. Then we finally meet Brent Spiner as Dr. Oaken. Is that the right name? That sounds wrong.
And Adam Baldwin as generic military guy number A. I think he was like the commander of Area 51.
He was the commander of Area 51. Doesn't look old enough. No. Doesn't seem like it. Everyone else is telling him to do things. I feel like
Robert Loggia should have been in charge of that. Even Robert Loggia didn't know about this place.
Yeah. And they kept chastising the Secretary of Defense. Now, did he know because he was the Secretary of Defense or because he was the...
I think it's because he was the former CIA director.
Gotcha.
Which,
okay.
I'm not sure how they should know that either. I don't know, whatever.
I don't know. Yes, so...
Sorry, continue. I just read one of your notes.
Oh,
I read two of them. They're very funny.
Well, at this point, we're only halfway through the movie. So
this movie's so long.
And we're halfway through our rendition of the movie. So hopefully we can get through this in the next 20 minutes or so. There's three aliens. Will Smith meets President Pullman. His girlfriend meets the first lady.
Yeah, what are the odds of that?
Yeah, the first lady, or she tells the first lady she's a dancer.
Like, ballet.
Yeah, exotic.
And then she goes, "I'm sorry." And then Vivica A. Fox goes, "I'm not."
Yep. Which again,
Very
back to your progressive.
Yeah, I mean, our country has progressed so much since that time.
Yeah, strange that the black family was the one that had to be the.
Of course, they'd make that one stripper, but whatever.
Yeah, that was my point. Oh wow, your notes really do just trail off.
Yeah.
Oh, your favorite part about the freak show?
Well,
alien autopsy.
I just love that line, but like that is such a jump scare when they're like cutting through the alien exoskeleton and it pops open, and then of course, not long after. Oh, by the way, one of like the random medical techs in that room, like later was a guest star in ER, Leland Orser.
I'm not surprised.
He was in other stuff too, but I love when it starts to, like the alien starts going crazy and attacking people, and and
they're like trying to get out, and it's just
they're trying to get out, and then Dr. Oak it gets around his neck and starts using his vocal cords to talk to the president, but then it like it tries to like mind fuck the president or whatever, and he like falls to the ground. I just absolutely love when someone goes, "Is that glass bulletproof?" And he goes, "No, sir." And they all three pull out their guns and just start shooting the alien. Epic. Love that scene.
Yeah, Adam Baldwin is a badass in that scene. Brent Spiner is clearly like, Adam Baldwin's the one that double taps on the alien.
Yeah, I also have to say, I'm sorry, just because we're talking about how fucked America is, I said, is that glass bulletproof? No, sir. And just so much gunfire. And then I wrote, what was behind the glass? Elementary school children?
What? I missed that.
Obviously, that's a satirical comment about gun control. Anyway,
yep.
Let's nuke the bastards. Says the president. But you're right. Brent Spiner, definitely dead in that scene. Like, there was no allusion. He
checks for a pulse. And he makes no motion.
Yeah, he's dead, and yet he appears in the next movie.
Yeah, I was just in a coma for a few years. Or 10
in therapy.
Or whatever. Yeah. Let's see. No,
you have all of my notes. That was in there.
I know. And I went back to see if I was a little further.
It does trail off a lot.
Yeah, Welcome to Earth. That's not entirely accurate. Movie is released.
Yeah, that's my last page.
Classified. Where's I don't see the kid shooting. Oh, there it is. There it is. Elementary school. Anyway, then Bill Pullman's like, nuke him.
Yep.
Nuke him. We get some marital woes between David Goldblum and his ex-wife,
Connie, other lady. Yeah.
Yeah. She apparently was the mom from Gossip Girl for Blake Waldorf.
Okay.
Yeah, good for her.
Well, so the nuke doesn't do anything.
Right. And of course they do it over Texas because why not?
Yeah, well, exactly. Houston gets destroyed by a hurricane like every 10 years anyway. Well, so then David's like drinking to, feel better. And then he starts like trying to destroy the whole place and make the environment terrible, which is like, I'm so sorry. Hold on.
Meanwhile, Will Smith steals a helicopter to save his girlfriend and the first lady.
Anyway, so I did want to say though that, so he's like trying to ruin the place, and then he's like kind of on the floor, and his dad's like, you don't want to catch a cold, and he's like, you're a genius. I'm like a 8-year, educated computer person, and I just thought of a virus because you talked about a cold.
Yep. Brilliant end to this movie. That brains beats brawn. Also, the first lady makes it all the way back in the helicopter, and then she gets a touching scene with her daughter and Bill Pullman, president.
That's a hard one to watch.
And then he has the daughter leave the room, and then he exits the room, and not long after that, and just like, she's dead.
Yeah, I will say that part literally did not affect me at all when I was watching this movie as a child. But now that I have kids, that was really tough to watch, actually.
Well, because she said, "Mommy's sleeping."
Oh my god! Jeez, that was rough.
My niece said that about when her grandfather passed away.
Yeah, that really got me. I had like, oh man. Anyway,
but at the same time, did he smother her with a pillow?
Yeah, that was a really. Also,
she wasn't going to die immediately.
Lot of problems medically with all of that. Just so you know.
The fact that she just lost the will to live.
If you're bleeding out, you don't look that good 4 minutes before you just code. Like, it doesn't happen there. And why was she not more pale? She has no blood.
Wow. It was internal bleeding?
Most internal bleeding, there's something they can do about it. They didn't even take her to surgery and try.
She just lost the will to live. And then it's July 4th.
Yeah. So a couple things.
Yes.
They're talking. I do like when he give the David Goldblum makes a whole explanation of everything, and then they bleep this out, but someone goes, "You really think you can do all that shit you just said?" Or Will Smith says that, but they bleeped it. And then he puts that transmitter on the alien ship, and it just looks like a giant brushed nickel dildo. Like, it just does. I'm sorry.
It does.
It absolutely does. The dolphin engagement ring is tacky. And then, Bill Pullman.
Oh yeah, they get married.
Yeah, they get married. Epic speech. Like one of the best, I think one of the best movie speeches. Delivered well, written well, very inspiring.
We almost did a quiz where we tried to fill in the blanks for his speech, but I figured that'd be more boring than you trying to
what are some of the other good speeches? Denzel Washington in Philadelphia.
Aaron Eckhart in Thank You for Smoking.
Okay, yeah. Braveheart.
Well, yeah, that's a good one. I mean, recently, there's a terrible one from Rogue One where they say, rebellions are built on hope.
Jeff Daniels in Newsroom.
Yeah, you keep bringing that one up.
It's one of my favorites.
The Godfather, there's You Come to Me on the Day of My Daughter's Wedding speech.
It's a good one.
There's also the You Never Ask Me About My Business, Kay.
Godfather Part 2. The best part, the best part about the Jeff Daniels tirade is when he goes, when you say America's the best country in the world, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I just love that. Anyway, so they're going to launch another offensive.
They are Jewish. Sorry. Yeah, they're going to launch another offensive when Jeff Goldblum and Will Smith go take the virus to the mothership. Because somehow they need to put into the master computer. They need to put the virus into the master computer so that it disseminates through the Earth satellites to the other ships. Couldn't they just send it
the other direction?
Right? Or, through the satellites.
Exactly. No, the other thing too is whenever they're trying to make computer stuff look better or more high tech, there's always talking. The program talks. Good morning, Dave.
Or laughs.
No, that's not high tech. That's stupid.
I'm afraid I can't let you do that.
Your computer has 2 megabytes of RAM. Why are you using it to make it say your name?
To have an ASCII or an ASCII skeleton skull that's laughing.
Yeah. Oh, anyway. He's just working directly through the command line.
Will Smith insists that he takes cigars up there, keeps talking about a fat lady. I picked a hell of a day to quit drinking was Randy Quaid's line as they're taking off. By the way, a bunch of Bush pilots piloting F-18s to counterattack. Also taken from Star Wars, but not the F-18s, just in general. But it's just in the 3 hours that they had, I don't think you could have learned to
the president flying the plane is dumb.
Well, he was a fighter pilot. He had flown.
Also, where was the vice president in this entire movie?
I believe they died.
Oh, no.
Because they were in the bunker.
When does it there's a line where someone says, he did it, the son of a bitch did it. Is that after the missile actually hits? And
I think so.
I'm like, dude, direct Jurassic Park reference.
Well, speaking of direct Jurassic Park reference, as Goldblum and Will Smith are exiting and the door is closing.
Yeah.
You get Jeff Goldblum saying, must go faster, must go faster, must go faster 3 times. Also, I'm pretty sure that's ADR now that I think about it because you don't actually see him say it.
Well, yeah, I mean, maybe he ad-libbed that in both. Maybe that was just his thing.
Well, no. So Jurassic Park, Spielberg asked him to say that.
Oh, I was going to say any of these sort of clenching moments,
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's kind of, I saw an interview when we were doing the Jurassic Park thing, that Goldblum says Spielberg asked him to say it. So yeah. And then he says it 3 times for Roland Emmerich and it's just, so you always equate that line with Jurassic Park, and I always equate that line with Independence Day because I always do the 3.
Yeah, I do the 3. I always thought you said it 3 times.
Yeah.
I mean, both are equally stressy situations.
Mm-hmm. And then we get the "I'm not Jewish" from the fired director of the CIA.
Yeah.
Or
and
no,
and then Judd Hirsch fired defense secretary. Judd Hirsch goes, no, it's perfect.
And
classic.
Yeah. Another Star Wars thing. They're like, they fire the missile and it hits the outer shell instead of hitting the firing mechanism, which Star Wars, the first attack hits near the opening, but the Red Leader's like, that's a negative. We just grazed the surface. And it's like, this is taken directly from this film.
I did get self-conscious of, because Kayla had come home at this point, is like every time they launch a missile, they had to say like Eagle 3, Fox 9. And I was like, oh my God, they've said it like 12 times. This is so awkward. Do they actually say this? Just launch the goddamn missile.
It was their call sign followed by which missile they were firing.
Yeah, I know.
Which someone fired Fox 2 twice. That was I noticed that since they were making such a point to be like Eagle 1, Fox 2.
Yeah. Yeah, we should get the RV people inside.
Yeah.
Oh God!
Because all the RV people are on the surface of the RV base or of Area 51, and then who's it? It's Jeff Goldblum's ex-wife's talking to Adam Baldwin, and she's like, "So they're coming to attack us, right?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then she's like, "They're probably going to try to shoot us with their ships, aren't they?" So yeah, but we're underground.
What about people who aren't jackwagon?
Yeah, he's like, oh fuck, I forgot about them. And
they're all just getting completely racked up there.
And then like they close the elevator, like the elevator's the only way up and down. So like all the other people, there are still people out there being shot.
Was Adam Baldwin's character trying to close the elevator doors or open them at that part where he puts his hands up to it? It looks like he's trying to open it. I'm like, no, there's fire.
Yeah, the fire, and it's full. It should be closing. Yeah. And then I love the line, forget that Jeff Goldblum, he plays the nerdy guys who doesn't understand all the references. Like forget the fat lady, you're obsessed with the fat lady. was my favorite. That's my favorite line from this movie.
To your point, I was with you. The energy weapon thing should have destroyed him, but I don't think they had quite fired it. It was like very borderline.
Okay, it was drawing the. Well, I feel like it was drawing the energy.
But I think what part of that though is that beam has that extreme explosive quality. So I think the missile sort of like set off the chain reaction, but instead it went up into the ship where it was generating it versus onto the ground.
You could see it from the fire. Yeah. And then, yep. Also, back to the mothership, they had a 30-second window to get out of there. When it counted down to second 23, it had already been 30 seconds. That was before Must Go Faster, and Elvis has left the building. It took them 2 minutes and 12 seconds to get out of the mothership with the 30-second timer.
Oh my God. But yet, it didn't seem wrong. Like it did, but it didn't, Well, I didn't pick up on that until you mentioned it.
Really? Because the moment it said 23, I was like, that's weird. It was like I set a timer at 30 seconds.
That's hilarious.
And the fact that like they literally check in at 30 seconds with 23 seconds left was yeah. And then we get Happy 4th of July, Daddy, which sounds different coming out of a grown man's mouth. Sure
does, especially when you have that intonation as you say it.
Well, I mean, Mae Whitman has a deeper voice.
Boy, that's a long ass movie.
Yeah. Fuck that movie's long.
Oh man. Wow.
How would you close this out? What would you say about Independence Day?
It's a feel good film for. Wait. Okay. It's like the. Okay. It's the first good disaster movie. Like, there have been other ones. They have good qualities to them. They are what they are. They're, you know, I don't know, like, what's one that came before it?
This was definitely
but
peak.
It was one of the, it was like a barometer.
Dante's Peak.
I mean, Dante's Peak was pretty good. It was like a barometer that other movies were trying to match up to. And I feel like it has become the framework for a lot of disaster movies, which have not been nearly as successful since then, you know?
Yeah. You can't recapture that magic.
No.
But people certainly try. Backdraft is technically a disaster film, but not the kind that you're thinking of. Natural disaster.
I mean, star-studded cast. Jeff Goldblum, Will Smith. Yeah, I mean, Twister wasn't bad.
Well, Twister was good.
Yeah, Jeff Goldblum, Will Smith. But no, Twister didn't have like the full cataclysmic aspect.
And
like,
the world.
you know, there were others that were more like that. Again, The Day After Tomorrow, not a great movie. San Andreas, really bad.
Those are all after.
Yeah, I'm saying after. But it was sort of like the formula. And it's a great movie. Again, star-studded cast. Jeff Goldblum, Will Smith were right there in the prime. Bill Pullman, you know, great addition to the cast. Just a great movie. Still watchable. I don't like anything, and I like this movie.
That's true. He does not like anything. I agree. I think I said it at the top of the episode. I would rather live in that universe right now than our own. Yeah. Celebrate that Independence Day than our current one. But it's a great movie. Will Smith underutilized until the end of the film, I would say. Harvey Fierstein and Harry Connick Jr. completely underutilized since they get killed so early on. What happened to Vivica A. Fox?
I don't know. Doesn't it feel like she shouldn't have gone that far into, you know, like oblivion as far as her career goes?
Yeah, well, I mean, she's been on more things, just Sharknado, but I meant in the film after she like does the brave thing and like women supporting women and whatever, then she's just like waiting for Will Smith to get back, like character assassination halfway through the film. Pretty much. Yeah. Same with his wife, but you know, overall it's a 90s, it's the pinnacle of world disaster catastrophe thriller films, and I recommend watching it if you're looking for something to do today on our Independence Day.
Yeah, well, if you're looking for something to do to take your mind off of the horribly broken country we live in, this is a good watch.
Yeah, that, or, you know, go protest and donate to abortion funds. And that's it for this week's edition of Namely 90s. Remember, you can find new episodes out every Monday. Find us on Twitter and Instagram at Namely 90s with 90s, or find our personal accounts at bshwitty and at Namely Andrew on Twitter, and tell us what you want us to talk about on future episodes. If you'd like to support the show, please go write your senator, write your congressman, and tell them that we want protections for
because soon enough, if they keep going down this path, podcasting won't be allowed either.
Podcasting, all that stuff. And finally, you can contact us through our website, namely90s.com. Please subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Fat Lady, Deezer, TuneIn, iHeart, Good Pods, and wherever you get your podcasts from. I'm Brandon. That's Andrew. We live in a broken society. We need to fix it. We'll catch you next time.
At some point, should we mention the reason we're for abortion rights, which is because women should have rights, not because we are really into abortion?
I just want to kill babies.
Yeah, exactly. It's also really loud in my headphones, in my cans.